everybody, this is Hornlitz here, and welcome back for more Let's Glitch The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess. In the last episode, we went to Fair and Twilight and started doing that before completely destroying the game and going and getting Master Sword early. And in this episode, we are going to be finishing up Fair and Twilight and then heading off to the Forest Temple. But first, before we do that, I want to show off this file. If you remember in the last episode, I said at the end that I forgot to make a save while I was playing through. Well, I went back and I remade all of my saves, and I actually saved here this time. So yeah, this is basically just where you want it, right at the start of the Lost Woods, before you've done the Howling at the Howling Stone, and the that wood door is still there. So yeah, that's pretty much what you want for this file, if you want it to be useful at least. So yeah, now we can just get on with the actual episode, get the third file here, which is the file that we have, that I made after getting the Master Sword. And with this, we are going to warp away. So yeah, that's one really good thing about just having the Master Sword early, is that you can warp wherever you want, whenever you want. You don't have to beat the first 3 dungeons for that. And not only that, but you can also transform Wolf, which helps in a few places. It's usually faster to run as Wolf than it is to roll as human, so in a lot of places it would be faster to do that, but whatever. And now right here, I'm going to be going back and collecting the rest of the tears. So this is why I left the tears behind in the last episode, is because, as I mentioned, the tears take a little bit of time to materialize, and you can't collect them during that time. And so just by killing the bugs first, and then letting the tears materialize before I actually have to collect them, it saves a little bit of time. And so coming back through, because I have to come back through here again, at least. It wouldn't save time, obviously, if I didn't have to come back through here again. But yeah, it saves a bunch of time at this point, and that's really nice. Now, once we get into this room, there is a faster way through this room now. Because we are able to transform at will, we can just use the lantern and get through here. So just pull the lantern, and then I need to make sure I space out my lantern swings carefully. Because if you don't, you will void out. But I believe I did well. Yes, I did. You can get through there with 2 lantern swings, like I just did right there. And right here, this is why it was actually faster to wait to kill those bugs until now, because they, after the cutscene that plays when you first see these guys, they are underground, and if you dig them up, there's a bit of a cutscene that plays, plus they run around, and they're actually really annoying to get. But if you just wait until now to do it, there's no cutscene, and they start above ground, and so it's really nice and it's fast. Now right there, I just needed to kill those shadow beasts. Those last 2 shadow beasts were actually really nice, or relatively nice. It's possible for one of them to be staring at the wall, so their face is so far in the wall that they just don't notice you, and you have to run right beside them for them to actually turn towards you. It's really stupid. But they did not do that this time, thankfully, so that's pretty nice. Right here we've got our last 2 bugs. I'm going to be killing them, and then I'm actually going to be opening up Forest Temple, because I can, and I'll grab that rupee, I guess. So yeah, I'll skip that cutscene, and then you need to be a little bit careful when you transform around things that can talk, I guess, because I guess you're trying not to scare them, and so you can't transform in front of them because that would scare them, I guess. I don't know, but it even works with the these spirit things. It counts those as actual people, and even though they can't see you, for some reason you still can't. I don't know, it's a little weird, but I guess you aren't supposed to be able to transform in Twilights anyways, so it doesn't really, you shouldn't have to run into that issue anyways, but whatever. So after I collect the last tier, we get to see Link completely deform into whatever that is. I think the idea behind, the reason that happens is because it tries to load Link's human model into Wolf Link shape, I think at least, but it doesn't work really well, because obviously you're not supposed to do that, or there shouldn't be any instance where that happens, but it does happen on a few occasions in this game, and it looks really ridiculous every single time. That's actually one of the more tame instances of Link's human model being morphed into the Wolf Link's model. It's really weird. But anyways, right here I'm stopping because I want to save real quick. I switched memory cards real quick because I want to keep the first save, or I need all of the saves that I had on the other memory card. So I'm gonna save there and continue playing. and we're going to head over to this room. We're sort of heading back to Orden, except we're going to stop right here because we have a glitch that we're going to be doing, and this is a fun one. So basically, the concept behind this glitch, it's called Back in Time. Basically, any like bottomless, this works in any bottomless pit or anywhere you can void out, actually. Basically, the idea behind this is we're going to be voiding out and resetting on the same frame, and that will do some interesting things. Now, it is a frame-perfect trick, however, the way I'm going to do it right here is extremely easy. Like, you can pull it off if you have the GameCube version and potentially the Wii version as well. I'm not sure if it works on, this setup at least works on the Wii version. I know the glitch does, but basically... anywhere, if you like drop off anywhere between these two like ropes that are holding the bridge up, it will work. And then what you want to do is you want to press the A button and pull up the map on the same frame. So in this case, it's D-pad right. And then it should look kind of like that right there, where basically Link sort of starts dropping off and then the map comes up. It's not, I don't think you have to press the two buttons, like the A button and the map button on the same frame. I'm not sure. You might have to, you probably do have to, but it's not hard to or anything. But yeah, after that happens, you can zoom out with B, and then at this point if I press B, it will go back to the game, like the actual game, and I'll be able to, well, I'll be falling into the void. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to input the soft reset command at the same time. So the soft reset command is X, start, and B. You have to press and hold all three of those for like a second and a half or something. So what you want to do here is you want to press and hold start and X, and then just press and hold B after that, and that will go back to the game and reset after a certain number of frames. And if everything went well, which it really should have, because this is 100% consistent, we get this. So you might be wondering, what on earth just happened? We were like right by Orden, and now all of a sudden we're at the Bridge of Eldin, which is nowhere near Orden. So yeah, basically what happened is, if I press the A button, it will become a little bit evident. I'm on the title screen. So yeah, the reason I'm at Orden, or at Eldin Bridge, is because the title screen takes place on this map at least. Or like in the Hyrule field here, and so that's why it brings me here. But I need to be a little bit careful here, because if I press the A button again, it'll go to the menu, the file select screen, and I won't be able to like recover anything. Actually, technically, whatever I have done since I last saved already got lost, which was literally nothing because I just saved. But yeah, it's it's a really cool glitch, and basically the way that it works is when you void out and reset on the same frame, neither action takes priority over the other because they happen at the same time, and so it's sort of just the effects of both of those actions just kind of happen at the same time. So voiding out respawns you in the current area, and so that puts you into, and so that like respawns you, and then the reset puts you on the title screen, so it just respawns you on the title screen. That's kind of the way that works. And now there is something fun you can actually do. You can jump off into a void, and then when you respawn there, it will actually get rid of the title screen state, and so you can save that file into your files, like into your file slots, and that actually, the any % speedrun does that right off the bat at the start of the game. But we actually can't do that because on a 100% speedrun, that like screws you out of getting certain items, so you can't really do that. What we can do though is another glitch. This one's, it's kind of the same glitch, but it's a bit of a variation of it. As you can see, it's called Back in Time Equipped. And, okay, I'm really sorry for all of the explaining that'll be happening this episode, but pretty much the entire episode is going to be explaining. Because this glitch is insane. It's very complicated. But basically, it's not necessarily complicated to actually pull off. All you need to do is, after you've done Back in Time, you need to jump into a void, and then as you're voiding out, you need to open up the file select menu, and it's not precise in the slightest. You have like 2 seconds to do it. So yeah, you can jump off and then just press the button to open up the file select screen, and if you heard Link had that little scream as the file select screen was coming up, that is what you want. And actually I need to switch memory cards again, because I need one of these save files. I need this save file in particular. And there's a reason for that. I'll get to that in a bit. But first, I need to, well, I don't really know how to do this necessarily, but I'm going to start the file up and show you what Back in Time Equipped does. All of a sudden, I am in the King Bublin 1 fight. At least, it's evident now, at least, that I'm in King Bublin 1 fight. And before I explain anything real quick, I actually can't really dilly-dally around here very long. I need to reset the console and skip the cutscene as the console is, or as, like, the game is resetting, or fading out. That is another glitch that I will get to in a minute. Or, like, probably actually closer to, like, 5 to 10 minutes. But anyways, I need to explain Back in Time Equipped. I need to go back to my other memory card first so that I can load this file because we need to start getting to Forest Temple. But yeah, so Back in Time Equipped. Basically, this is going to be so hard to explain, but anyways, whenever you save the game, there are 3 specific values that we need to look at least, for this, that pertain to this glitch. The first one is the state of the area that you are in. So each, like, area will have different states based on what plot you're in, and that, or like what plot you're in, what part of the plot you're in, it'll have different, like, and it'll give each of those states a numerical value just to tell the game what state it needs to be, and so that value gets saved into the save file. There is also a spawn point ID that gets saved, which also has to do with, or like whenever you load a file, the game needs to know where to load you, and so the spawn point ID has to do with that. I'm not exactly sure what the spawn point ID exactly means, but I know it's another like numerical value that just tells the game where to load you. And then there is one other number we have to look at, which is the room ID. So every room in the game will have a certain ID given to it. Almost every room in the game has an ID of 0, but mostly in, say, dungeons, if you enter another room, that room will have another room ID. But most save points that you have will have the room ID of 0. I think there are a few exceptions, but for the most part, it's just they're 0. And so in order for this Back in Time Equipped glitch to work, you need all of those 3 values to equal a scene on Elden Hyrule Field, which there are a number of different scenes, but the things that you need for this, you absolutely need the room ID to be 0, because that is the room ID of Elden Field. And then the other 2 numbers can be, there are some variations to them because, of course, that field has different, like, scene setups and whatnot. So basically, if you have a save file that has any combination of numbers that match any scene setup of East Hyrule Field, or West if you're on Wii, then you can literally warp to that scene setup with this file. If any of the numbers don't match up, though, the game will crash, and you have to, like, actually, I think you have to turn off your... You might even have to, like, unplug your console. I'm not quite sure if that's how it works, but yeah, it will crash if those numbers don't match up. But the interesting thing about this is I used this to warp to the King Bublin 1 fight, and that is what about, like, 90% of the saves that actually work send you to. That's just where they send you to. But if you had a save file that had the scene setup of any of the other, or like that had the same number values as any of the scene setups of Elden Hyrule Field, you could warp to that scene setup, as I mentioned. But that includes stuff like the Ganondorf fight. 2 of the phases happen on East Hyrule Field, and so you could technically warp to the final boss. Unfortunately, there is no actual file setup that's, or like there are no files or no save points that you can save at that have those certain numerical values that you absolutely need. And the other interesting thing, though, is that you could potentially warp to the credits with this, because there are also scene setups of East Hyrule Field on the credits, like, just as the credits are rolling. Unfortunately, again, there are no actual save files that work, but It does. There are actually a couple save files that, or like save locations that are very close to a credits warp. It's just like a one numerical value off on the spawn point ID or something. It's ridiculous. But anyways, hopefully you guys followed that, and hopefully that made sense. Now I have to get into the other glitch that I did as I was doing Back in Time, like as I was in the King Bublin fight, the one where I reset and then skipped the cutscene. So that one, let me just show you what the glitch does. I'm gonna open this door and it will become very evident. All of a sudden I have 4 monkeys. So how did that happen? Well, I need to explain a little something about this game. So basically, there is this flag, or like this value that gets set to tell the game that you've already done something. So basically, this flag that I need, and actually the game has a lot of flags, but the one in question that I want to talk about is the boss flag. So basically, whenever you enter a boss room and then like die or whatever, or exit the boss room, whenever you come back into that room a second time, the cutscene that plays at the start is skipped, and you're already in the fight. It's designed to save some time for you and not be annoying when you're frustrated that you're dying on a boss all the time, or something along those lines. I don't know. But basically, the reason that works is because whenever you enter, like whenever you see the opening cutscene of a boss, it will set this boss flag to some numerical value that will tell the game basically, yeah, this, like, don't show this cutscene again. Now, the other thing that I want to talk about is that, well, actually, hold on, I need to explain one other thing first, and that is that, whenever you reset, like if you just started a fight and then like skip the cutscene, and then when you were in the fight you would reset, that would reset the boss flag back to 0, I think is the normal numerical value for it. But if you reset during that opening cutscene, or like if you skip the cutscene during a reset, I think there are some other ways you can do it. Basically, it will permanently set that flag for the duration that the console is on, at least. Or until something manually sets the boss flag to 0, so say actually beating a boss. And so that's important. So basically as you can potentially understand right now, is that I have the boss flag set to a certain numerical value because I reset during the opening cutscene of King Bublin, and he counts as a boss in this game. Or at least in the game's code. I would more count him as a mini-boss or whatever, but you know. So right now I have it set to some value that's pretty high. It's like 40 right now or something. The important thing is that it's over 4. So now the thing that I need to explain is that in areas that don't have bosses, flags sometimes, or in actually any area really in the game, certain flags will get reused for certain other things because there's no reason that you should use them in this part of the dungeon or this part of the game or whatever, because, you know, there's just, this thing doesn't exist in this part of the game. So basically, in the main area of Forest Temple, the boss flag is used for something else because there is no boss in the main area of Forest Temple, just in the boss room. And that is the monkeys. The number of monkeys that we have saved is... the value is shared by the boss flag. And so by manipulating the boss flag, we can manipulate how many monkeys we have already saved in the Forest Temple. And so with that, I can hop over these 4 monkeys, despite having never entered... Like, this is the 3rd room of the dungeon I've been in. And then I can head into the mini-boss room. So yeah... That is early monkeys, or actually specifically the glitch is called early boss flags, because actually now the next time that I enter a boss, Ook doesn't count for some reason, but the next time I enter a boss, the boss will actually start early, which is a little weird, but yeah, so it's really cool though. Honestly, I'm sorry that I had to do so much explaining in this episode, but it was those 3 glitches, or like Back in Time Equipped at least, is my absolute favorite glitch of all time, actually in pretty much any game. And Early Monkeys is kind of another one of my absolute favorites, and it's so cool, and I love the glitches so much, especially in this game. They're so cool. But anyways, I can stop gushing, and I guess I can explain Ook now that he's already dead. But Ook will jump around a random number of times. The lowest number he can jump around is 2. The highest, I don't know if there is a cap, but the highest I've seen is something like 20, something, or I might have seen 30 once, or something. Not myself, somebody else got 30, I think, but yeah, we don't like Ook. But he's really easy. If you have the Master Sword, he's really quick. You can just do a jump spin attack combo and then do one more attack and then he's dead, which actually I guess I should explain jump spin attack combos since it's not really widely known, I guess, except for among speedrunners. But basically if you do a jump attack and then spin the control stick in like just in one circle before you hit the ground, you will do an automatic spin attack. You don't need to hit B or anything. And so that's a really useful technique that I'll be using a ton. But anyways, after this point, because basically what I'm supposed to do at this point is use the boomerang on that little like thingy above the door, and it will open the door. I have to do it a few times, and then the door will open. But that's really slow, and it's actually faster to just save warp here and go back to the beginning of the dungeon. But I think I'm going to end the episode here because I don't need to explain more stuff. So anyways, yeah. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this episode, click that like button. If you didn't, fine, click the dislike button. Follow me on the links in the description, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.